Mace doing a good job here. He's got his hands locked.
An 11-2 major decision for Isaac Rogel and the Boilermakers.
What a win for Hayden Filipovic. To get the job done, he put Andrews on his back a couple of times.
Grayson Clark scores the final 8 points to take a 9-4 victory.
Beautiful job by Blaze. You saw him kind of drag him back with his head stuck in the middle.
Boilermaker faithful here at Holloway Gym, giving Ben Benadia a round of applause. He picks up his 4th Big Ten dual victory.
And he gets the takedown. Brody Bowman.
Welcome to the Always Aggressive podcast. As always, I'm your host, Tanner Lipsett. With me, the head coach, Tony Ersland, our producer, Corey Palm. How's everybody doing on this fine day?
Doing well, man. The weather's warming up. The sun's been out.
No, it's still cold, Tony.
I'll take sunshine. A little cold. Hey, listen, 25 to 30 degrees the last couple days seems so much better than negative 15 in the wind howling and blowing.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I will take it.
This is a guy who walks around the office in shorts this time of year. You can trust nothing he has to say and just completely pass on his opinion when it comes to weather altogether.
Growing up in Western Iowa was different.
It was different.
And I'm the first to admit, when it comes to weather, I'm soft. I grew up in California.
You're a Cali kid, yep.
I grew up in California. Snow was something, you saw in movies and, paintings and, other places. It wasn't for you. And so
wasn't 70 and sand at the beach?
It was, and that's the thing. It's not always 70. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just laugh now. My sister still lives out there, and she'll be like, "It's 50 degrees," and she's freezing, and I'm like, "Shut up."
It's cold. I know.
Like, just shut up. Nobody.
I say, and it's all perspective because, again, the other day I left early to take my son to school, and I think at that time it was 27 degrees, and I thought to myself, literally, like, wow, it's really warming up.
Yeah, right.
So it's all perspective.
Yeah, and then like a week before that, you walked outside and it was like negative 18, and it felt like it was negative 35.
And it went right through you. There's no doubt.
You were dying. So, also for those watching, do not try to adjust your cameras or your lenses. We are wearing the same sweatshirt. My old boss Kevin Graber would have said he called us FUDA, friends who dress alike. Mm-hmm. That was his his thing.
Me growing up with twins too, I just say twinning.
Yeah, the boys. Although they don't. Did you guys ever dress them the same, or was that okay?
I won't say never. I will say that my wife was very intentional about not dressing them alike very often. They always were two separate kids, and they got treated separate.
Well, I would say they're very different kids, and
very
so
different.
I like to think of the whole idea of like dressing them the same as
Yep.
I wouldn't have thought that of you and the missus, you know what I mean? Like, if I would have had to, place a wager, Corey, I definitely wouldn't have guessed that they were those parents.
Yeah, I wouldn't think. I've always wondered, Tony, and I can ask you now on camera, when you have babies, how do you tell them apart?
Tony's never had a baby, but keep going.
Yeah.
When you have
you can ask my wife about that.
When you have twins that are little kids, how do you know?
So mine were interesting. Mine were so vastly different because Mason was 6 pounds and Jackson was a whopping 3. So trust me, one was a couple of Campbell's soup cans, in the palm of your hand when they were born. So it wasn't that hard. I mean, they caught up rapidly. Honestly, they did. They caught up rapidly, but Mason was well ahead of Jackson in terms of bulk when they first hit the ground.
God helped you out there.
Yes, he did. It was not tough to identify.
He knew he needed all the help he could get.
Nor the clothes either, right? Like again, it wasn't tough. It was easy. One was twice the size of the other. So we, until they were a few years old, it wasn't too bad.
Their clothes weren't getting mixed up.
No, not a chance.
I figure that's why your wife put them in separate or different outfits that way.
Yeah.
Help you out there too.
It extended all the way through. They were very rarely in classes together. They weren't in the same kindergarten class together. I mean, they were split up, and they'd both tell you that they preferred it that way as life has gone on.
We spent probably a good 15, 20 minutes before the show trying to figure out, hey, we probably need to splash some stuff into the show that's not wrestling this week. And we knew, you know what? Accidents happen that way, and I'm sure it's not the last tangent we'll get off on today. But bringing it back, wrestling generally the reason why a lot of you guys are here, other than to see me. But great day Sunday in Mackey Arena. hosted our annual Mackey Mania, and the turnout was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere, a great event. Obviously, we've talked about it before. Mackey, historic place, great venue. We had a good crowd. There was a lot of different things going on that just made the day fun. You know what I mean? It was an exciting, fun day. Obviously, we'll talk more about from a results standpoint what that was, but I would say the environment was a really strong environment to compete in.
A mostly full lower bowl in Mackey Arena. They really got into it at times. In addition to that, welcomed a large group of alumni back to West Lafayette, and we definitely had some time to visit with them and spend some time talking about what was and what is and what's coming. And a group of I believe the official number we got was 28. Alumni and their families came back to West Lafayette to share the day with us.
Yeah, no, and that was really fun to honor and recognize some people who have been part of this program for a number of years. And trust me, there's some that go way back in terms of
I think the earliest date I heard in talking to people was 1957.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. I mean, just to have people that have come through that long ago still interested in the program and return to campus to watch a duel is special. And so it's nice to see that kind of history and to hear them talk about their time at Purdue. And I've continued to receive a few emails, even after the fact, with people who just had appreciated the opportunity for them to come back and be a part of it. So it was a great day to honor the alumni as well.
Special thanks to all those guys that came back and brought their families, and even some of our former managers, Nikki Dunham, Lindsey Duffer, Paul Maldonado. We're all in attendance, and always great to it's too often we talk just about the wrestlers, but the reality is there are so many opportunities for people to be in and around this program during their time here. And we appreciate all of them.
Yeah, no, it was great. You just don't get a chance to honor people like that enough. I say it all the time, we're always so busy looking ahead, trying to get to the next thing that you need to take the opportunity to look back and recognize those who have been part of it for a long time.
I think one of the things for me, obviously I've been here a long time, seen a lot of kids come through the program. One thing hit me really hard this weekend was seeing so many of them come back with families, wives, multiple children. And I think back to who some of them were when they were 19 years old. And
and you wonder how they ever made it to wives and children?
It hurts my brain. Like, I don't want to pick on anybody specifically, but I really could if I wanted to. But it was just, it's wild to see those guys, and they come back and, they've got wives and kids and jobs, and
they're all settled down.
They're real people,
responsible adults.
Well, let's not go too far.
That's pushing it a little bit. You think?
With some of them, I think that's pushing it for sure.
Yeah.
So, a couple side notes. Sunday was Alec White's birthday. It was nice to be able to have him back in the house for that.
Yep.
Another one. I don't know if you know this. Alex White, who was a last minute ad, had his first child on Tuesday.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Yeah.
You hadn't told me. Wow.
Whitey's a father.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Congratulations, buddy.
So
yeah,
huge congrats
awesome.
to Alex White. I want to say Baylor. I think Baylor.
Okay.
Baylor White.
I hope you didn't mess that up. It's on film forever now.
I know. And I could grab my phone and look on Facebook. I was just texting with him before.
That's big though.
Before we came on. So huge congrats to him. Glad we had him in the house with some of his old teammates. It was good to have everybody there.
Yeah.
So moving on to the wrestling. Did not come out victorious against the Badgers. But definitely, as always, some nice highlights in the duel of guys who came in and took care of business. Want to start at 141 with Grayson Clark. Always a special one for Grayson, being from Wisconsin to wrestle against Wisconsin, and he went out there and showed out.
He did, and he even I think, if I'm telling this correctly, had wrestled a kid who competes for Wisconsin that's from his club and that he had trained with.
I'd missed that note.
Yeah, that he knew quite well. So, he continues to build momentum. Obviously, he'd been out of the lineup a little bit. nursing a minor injury, and then this was his second match on return, and continued to build momentum for himself, scoring points, especially on his feet, which is where we want him to be. We know he's got a strong top game, but he continues to learn how to stay aggressive on his feet and put up points. So happy that he's progressing in terms of what we're trying to do as we look to peak.
Speaking in general, you talk about peaking, you talk about rolling towards the end of the season. You talk about a guy like Grayson. Grayson is widely known for, his top game, his cradles, his turns.
Yep.
And so when you see him, even, mid-season, he's making those strides on his feet to vary his attacks, to come up with takedowns from different positions. As a coach, how fulfilling is that as you watch these guys build towards the end?
Yeah, I think that's key, because it's all about trusting things. When you get down to the end, and if you're always working on changes, right, tweaking, whether it's a finish or how you hand fight or how you ride, like those are changes. And to execute something in a moment where it's the match is in balance, maybe with how you finish the single leg or how you finish your ride, you got to trust it, and that's what you want. You want them to, they're working on it in practice. Now you see it in the match, they're going to start trusting it, and that's ultimately what leads to the changes that you want. He's got to trust what he's doing and what he's been working on, and that's what this will do for Grayson.
A barn burner at 149 pounds between two ranked guys, Wisconsin's Joey Zargo, our Gavin Brown. Obviously not the result in the end that we wanted, but definitely saw some flashes from Gavin that put us in a positive light as we head towards the end of the season.
Yeah, big positive, you said. Two takedowns in the first half of the match where he looked very sharp and he looked very crisp on his feet. And what hurt him at the end is, and we've seen this a couple times, is, he gave up the last takedown and then got rode out. He needed to get away to tie and then give himself a chance again on his feet. And so, if I'm talking to Gavin, right, hey, we've got to make sure our bottom is a little bit more sound so that we can escape on everybody. And I think also the hand fight affected him more than what I would want to see. We wound up kind of responding to the pressure from the hand fight in a way that wasn't probably the best choice. And he put himself in a couple tough positions then where he's just hanging on for the win, and that you don't ever want to be there, right? You don't want to be put in a passive position where you're either hesitating or just passive. And I thought that's where he was at, is he was maybe a little bit too passive and defensive in some of those positions at the end of the match. If he can, make sure he's off bottom and then back to his feet, he's going to be very dangerous against anybody at the end of the year. But he'll learn a lot from this about what he needs to do to be successful against a very strong competitor.
From a philosophical perspective, how as a coach, for those taking notes out there, how do you take a match like this and turn it into a positive for a kid like that? 3 duels left in the season, postseason championship stuff, and obviously we're building, we're growing, we're peaking. How do you turn something like that into a positive for a kid?
Well, I mean, first of all, it never defines you. You know what I mean? This is
not a zero-sum thing,
right? Right. And we've talked about that. It just, win or a loss never defines who you are. The other thing is, hey, what information did you learn? What did you learn from the match that we can use in the future? And if we're always learning and growing from it, then I think you see how you can change a result, and that's what you want. Part of it too, and this isn't just like we're talking about Gavin. I think just where we were short, or where some guys were hesitant as a duel, like I think you gotta stay loose and have fun. If anything, I gotta teach, or make sure some of these guys are staying loose and enjoying the moment. Not, hey, this is, I'm just trying to win. As soon as you switch modes in your mind where I'm trying to win, you're not going to want to screw up. And when you don't want to make a mistake, that's when you hesitate.
That's when you make mistakes.
That's when you train, at least in practice for us, right? These kids train to be aggressive, how to execute, how to hand fight, how to get on a leg, how to finish a ride, how to turn a guy, how to score points, right? Like, it's always action-oriented. And the second you start to say, hey, I don't want to screw this up, and you get passive, you're doing something that all week you haven't trained to do. Now you're the guy you're a fish out of water. And that's where I think, we and me especially as the head coach, I've got to keep these guys loose and just focused on the moment and enjoying the moment. You know what I mean? Don't think about something that hasn't happened yet. That win and loss that's a few minutes down the road. You can't look ahead to that and try not to screw that up. So I think that's the one takeaway from this is keep guys loose, keep them in the moment, and understand what has to happen in each situation. Would you learn? Learn something first and foremost so the next time we're in that moment, we handle it better. We're better prepared.
I don't know if you heard me say it earlier this week, Corey. You'll giggle at this. I liken it to the film Tommy Boy, where Tommy's explaining how he treats his sales. He's trying to sell things. And he's got that roll at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And he's so excited about it. And he's got this sale. And this is all I'm worried about. And he ends up just absolutely destroying the roll and just rips it apart. And, that's kind of where I see some of those moments. That's the result of when you hang on too tight to something that's not there.
And that's the truth. All right. I mean, that's the thing. And I've said this before, our group, they care, man. They do. They care. They're good guys. They're
zero question.
They are training hard. They are working hard. They are about the right things. But when you get in that moment, and now it's you're too hyper focused on, hey, I'm just trying to win. You forget to execute, and that's what I felt like we did a few places. Gavin's one of them. Early, man, he was on his attacks. He looked great in those 2 early takedowns. He needed to go get a third. He needed to go get a third takedown, you know what I mean, and score more points instead of sitting back and trying to, work a clock. You don't ever want to see that. So for him, it's, some of it's, hey, adjust your tactics, and some of it is just keep doing what you were doing. I think that's a big lesson for him is you were looking great on your feet. Keep going. Keep building that lead.
Yeah. So. Speaking of a guy who has been staying in the moment and enjoying what he's doing, can't say enough about Joey Blaze and what he continues to do out there. Another top 25 win on his resume for Sunday, and just incredibly dominant fashion as he went out and tech-falled Cody Goebel from Wisconsin.
Yeah, when we talk, I think we just talked about staying in the moment and going after points. I think that's where Joey now lives, and we've talked about when he was younger, he's had to have that journey where maybe he was just trying to learn and not screw it up, but he learned after that first year, he's just better when he's loose, grateful, trying to score points, seeing a lot of positions, right? That's Joey's game, and I think that's something everybody can learn from. You don't got to wrestle his style, but you just got to be after your points and seeking your positions at all times, and not like I said, hesitate or get passive because of what a score is, or you're to the end of the match and you're just trying to win. So I think that's you look, he's undefeated because he's focused on going and getting his points. And was that 5th or 7th tech fall? So,
I'm not up to date on the stats with that right now.
Yeah,
I do know Intermat published a really interesting article this week about the remaining undefeated wrestlers and what schedules they had left and what opponents, and Joey was included that as one of 3 guys at 165 pounds that still have that mark on their record. So it was interesting to look at as far as it's obviously it's all designed for clicks and reads and stuff like that. But it was cool to look at with Joey to see kind of where he's at, what he has left, what he's been doing.
Yeah.
It's he's having a special year.
Yeah, and I would even since you brought this article up, I've not seen it yet.
Sure.
So I wasn't even aware of it, but I would even tell Joey now, don't worry about being undefeated. Don't try to protect being undefeated. You've gotten here because you've been focused on scoring points, hand fighting to your positions, getting on your leg attacks.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Just don't let that change your focus, because that's when all of these little things creep in. I just want to win the national title, or I just want to be undefeated. Well, now again, you start trying not to make mistakes, or maybe you protect something that you don't have, and again, that takes you out of the moment. It takes your mind off of what right now is. And so I'm glad you brought it up.
It's really interesting. We just transitioned from talking about 2 different guys to very different situation, but the advice stays the same.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's and I think that's why cliches are called cliches, as far as the advice of staying in the moment. Don't hold on to things that aren't real. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing the things that made you successful to get you here, and it'll work out all right.
And it will. And ultimately, that's your best chance for success. There's no guarantees in life or in wrestling. There's just no guarantees, right? There's so many things that are out of your control, and to worry about something that may not be in your control anyway is pointless. But we do, right, as people, right? And you're right, I'm a coach. You know, I got a little bit of control freak in me too. That's why we try to.
You don't say.
Yeah, never, right? Like you try to dot every I, cross every T. Like you try to control everything. But at the end of the day, hey, focus on the things you can, work really hard, and then go out and try to get after your points. And then, you know what? When you're done, we see where we land. That gives you your best chance to get what you want in this world. And I think if you realize that and keep that big picture in mind, then, well, a lot of our guys are pretty dang good.
Completing the list of wins this weekend, James Rowley went out, took care of business, got another win at 184 pounds for us. And he's a guy that's really starting to solidify himself in that top 25, top 30 range in the national rankings of 184, and still has some nice opportunities left to keep moving up.
Yeah, he's looking very solid. I'll pick on James just a little bit because he was doing a nice job scoring points. A little conservative, in my opinion, in this match. So, I'd like to see him continue to kind of go towards being aggressive and keeping his attack rate higher. I thought he controlled that match very well, and so that it's nice to see him control that. But I felt like he left a little meat on the bone, even if I'm going to pick. And I'm greedy by nature. You want to get everything you can get. And
that's the key to being a head coach, is never being satisfied. Right. So, I mean, I wouldn't expect you to change that narrative at this point.
No. But again, your point is valid, right? Like he's been very solid recently. He's finding his groove. But let's not get too comfortable. Let's keep pushing.
No.
Stay out of that comfort zone.
Comfort's a killer.
Yes, complacency will leave you dead on the side of the road.
Slightly morbid, huh, Corey?
Hey, we went there.
We went there. Moving forward, we'll stay on the wrestling bug here. Another Sunday home duel for the Boilermakers this weekend. We host Illinois, 1 o'clock, February 8th. Another great opportunity, another just list of very talented wrestlers on both sides of the ledger coming in. I guess what are a few things that you're looking ahead to with the Fighting Illini?
Very solid team, up and down. You know what I mean? They're not going to make a lot of mistakes. You know, they're well coached. They're in shape. So we're going to have to be ready. Again, what I've been talking about, just take the fight to them and execute our game plan, not let them kind of drag us into what they want to do. So we're definitely going to have to come out and dictate from first period to third period. You mentioned they're very solid up and down, not a lot of weak spots. Looking forward to the battle, though, defending national champ, Bird at 133.
I was just going to bring Lucas up. He's definitely the highlight of their lineup, defending national champ last year. A cool story and just a great career that he's had. And it'll be fun to host him in Holloway.
Yeah, no doubt. And, Blake Borman for us, even though he was a little short, on riding time, right? I mean,
sure.
we needed to get out, and we had the only good leg attack in the match, I think Blake did. Blake had a leg up in the air and was close to a finish. So he's looking like he's had some good wins, but he is right there. Fugit, who was a defending All-American, and now he gets the national champ. Very excited to watch kind of that match as kind of a bar to see where I think our guy is trending well. See kind of how he stacks up against the guy who's won.
Absolutely. Great challenge for Joey Blaze at 165 pounds, another top 10 opponent in Braden Scholes.
Yep.
Scholes, a guy who's dangerous from a lot of positions. He's funky, will roll around and will put you in danger. So a great opportunity for Joey.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the thing I love about with Scholes is he'll want to wrestle and engage and see a lot of positions as well. I personally love that. For our guys, Joey wants to see a lot of positions too. So I would say probably a lot of very entertaining match for the fans. You're not going to have two guys wanting to feel each other out. I think they're going to get in there and mix it up, and I love that.
Super Bowl Sunday, hoping people come out. Let's consider ourselves the pre-party
Yeah.
With our match with the final line now, duels at 1 should leave you plenty of time to get home and get your appetizers ready and get your game food going. But another great match. Like I said, I alluded to it early with James Rowley. Chris Moore has been on a bit of a hot streak at 184 pounds.
Yep.
And should be a nice matchup for James.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned that match, and you're right. That is another kind of nice marquee match. But this duel will have those kind of matches littered up and down.
It really does.
Right? There's a lot there if you look at it. Right, there's just a lot of good competitors on both sides for both teams up and down this lineup. So to me, it's going to be a fun duel for the fans to watch.
Absolutely. In addition to the duel, and I'm not sure even if we've talked too much about this because I've been handling it without you, but a couple of our alums will come back. The Welch twins coming up from Zionsville, and locally Logan Brown and his wife Stephanie will have a nice kids duel before the actual Purdue duel.
Fantastic.
In Holloway Gymnasium.
Yep.
This is our 3rd year in a row doing this with the Welches and the Browns, and has turned into a nice little event for both communities.
No, yeah, it's great. I really enjoy it, right? I mean, they do such a good job with their kids. I've been around kind of both of those groups, and I just enjoy how they bring the sport to these kids. You know what I mean? It's from a value standpoint and how you want to see young kids introduced to the sport. I think both clubs do a tremendous job of that. And so just love having them in our room and exposing those young kids to some high-level wrestling, too, after they get to have fun competing.
For sure. It's always been great for me. I mean, when they bring the littles out, the kids that are 6, 7, 8 years old and are just starting the sport and, they're still not entirely sure of what's all going on out there, but they throw caution to the wind and try to dump each other on their heads.
Yeah, it's just the next generation of wrestlers, right? I mean, that's what you want to see it keep going, right? You want to see those kids who are excited about the sport and want to have a passion, for getting better.
Well, and to get an opportunity at that age to come out and wrestle on a Big Ten collegiate match in their venue with all the lights and all the scoreboards and everything that's up in there. Just a really unique and cool opportunity for those young kids.
Yep, no, absolutely. I'm glad they're able to do it again.
Absolutely. We talked about this a little. We brought it up, but let's dive a little. It's Super Bowl Sunday, and now Corey had a much more cynical view on this game. Called it.
You're going to throw Corey under the bus now?
I am.
I'll own it.
He'll own it. He said most boring Super Bowl ever. Do you agree or disagree?
I'm not going. Listen, the buzz on the lead up.
Corey, is he going to go coach speak on us?
I am. I'm sorry.
Middle coach speak.
Listen, you guys know. Everybody probably knows if you've listened to us talk very often. I love football. I especially love NCAA collegiate football, but I just love football, and so I am going to look forward to and watch the game. But I would agree with Corey, like the buzz and the lead up to this has been pretty low key, right? It's hard to know. But I think if you dive in, like there's a lot of good things from a matchup standpoint, that are out there.
There's some really cool stories when you kind of dig into both teams. The fact Sam Darnold being the first ever quarterback from USC to play in a Super Bowl.
Crazy.
It's nuts when you think of some of the power teams they've had over time, and some of the Heisman Trophy types that have come from there.
Yeah, no doubt.
To think that Darnold's the first ever.
Yeah, and the highs and lows and what his journeys look like, in the NFL. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting tidbit.
Tony, you a Vikings fan?
I am.
So that one hurts even more then.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You see, we lost the GM, right? I mean, he was gone in a kind of weird move this week for the Vikings. So yeah, that does hurt my heart. When you had Darnold and you had Daniel Jones, we had our hands on both of them, and then obviously we had our young guy who I like a lot in J.J. McCarthy too, had his struggles this year. So yeah, that my heart hurts to see Darnold in the Super Bowl when he could have been with the Vikings and doing good things.
Now, Corey, you're well versed in this, but this is one of the first Super Bowls in a hot second where a Boilermaker's not involved.
Yeah, first in a long time. Well, actually, it was a couple years ago that broke the streak, but it's something like 24 of the last 26.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Have featured at least one Purdue player on the team.
I saw the Big Ten Network put out their little graphic earlier this week that had all the players from the various schools that are going to play in the game, and I didn't see a Purdue one on there, and I knew, like I said, I knew I think 24 of the last 26 or something like that, to have a Purdue guy playing for a ring is pretty wild.
Absolutely.
Because
we do have an alum from the Strategic Communications Office on the Patriots club. So
Lexi, right?
Lexi's on. Yep, Lexi's in New England.
A photographer, she's. I've been following her social media and the fact that she's living her best life right now. It's pretty cool to see her, down on the sidelines, at a Super Bowl is going to be incredible. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to look for her though, because she's a very small person.
Tiny.
She's a small human being, but obviously, or she wouldn't be there. Very, very good at what she does, and a really, really, really cool opportunity for her.
Yeah. So that makes Sunday exciting, right? We'll have our opportunity to compete and get some things done, and then we can go enjoy the day and watch hopefully good football. I know Corey's doubtful. Sounds like he's not, but I'll be excited after we take care of our business to sit down and watch a little bit of football.
Favorite Super Bowl snack?
Oh, wow.
Put him on the spot there, folks. You can hear the wheels turning in here.
It's either a shrimp cocktail, I like some cooled shrimp.
Fancy pants.
A little shrimp cocktail. Or like, you seen those little cocktail weenies, in the barbecue sauce?
Yeah.
Those kinds of things.
Little smokies?
Little smokies. Keep them warm all day, simmering. I kind of like those. Those are good fallbacks.
I saw a recipe on social media. It was either last night or the night before. You take little smokies, you wrap them in bacon. Mm-hmm. And then you put seasoning. You do seasoning on the top of that, and you air fry them.
Everything's better with bacon.
Well,
I'm good with that.
We did those for New Year's Eve. Instead of the seasoning, we did the brown sugar. Oh,
that'll work.
Oh, so
yeah.
So
I can get behind that. I'm a buffalo chicken dip kind of guy.
Same.
Yeah.
Not really my thing, necessarily. But
you don't like a lot of spice.
That's true. That's true.
The buffalo. I probably lost you at the buffalo.
My palate is pretty mild or bland. Some would
matches your wardrobe, right?
That's right. Khaki.
Said the guy he's matching with today.
Hey! Don't hold that against me, okay? He always says his friends used to call him Earth Tone Tony.
That's right. A lot of khaki people.
Well, I think we did a pretty good job of not just talking wrestling today, Corey.
I think so. One wrestling note: seven tech falls for Joey.
7 tech falls.
There we go. And I knew it was like 5 or 7. So yeah, you're right. 15 wins.
Still hasn't given up a takedown.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. Let's just keep him aggressive. Keep him flying around.
Well, and we talked about his matchup with Scholes and the fact that you talked about people emulating the way Joey wrestles and the way he bends and turns and his rubber knees.
Yeah.
And I don't think most people. Sometimes I get injured watching him wrestle.
Yeah, and I would like to keep people off his legs more too. We go coach speak. I told him we let that guy see too many of our ankles and knees in this match too, right? Like Joey's willing to get in there and mix it up.
Frankly, I thought it was his toes.
And so I would like to see him kind of protect his legs a little bit more as well, right? Control it with the hand fight and it's just baseline defense. But man, Joey loves to get in there and mix it up and come out on top of those scrambles.
He's Gumby. He's Gumby, damn it.
I'm Gumby, damn it. Shout out to Eddie Murphy and Saturday Night Live. God, that's a good one, Corey. I appreciate it. We had Tommy Boy and Eddie Murphy.
You guys as movie buffs are just, really happy right now. Yeah.
On next week's show, we'll dive into the Oscars, and we'll really get in.
We're doing next week.
Yeah, we're gonna do that next week.
We're gonna review the Oscars,
and then we'll wake up Tony.
Yeah. Let me know when that part's done.
You guys can just switch chairs. It'll be great. There you go. So. That's it for this week on the Always Aggressive Podcast. We appreciate you joining us. Sunday, 1 p.m., Holloway Gymnasium, Purdue in Illinois. We hope you'll be there. In the meantime, thanks for listening. Boiler up.